Welcome to Let's Weave Beads. In this video I am going to show you how to create one of the diamonds. This is the first one in the star pattern we are doing with the rectangle right angle weave. When I create the diamonds, here we have it on its side, and this is where the center is. That's where the 5 meet in the center of the star. I like to turn it so that the center is down. So that's how I will be showing you to create the diamond. Now, when I use the right angle weave, which is the 1 needle stitch, I put a piece of tape to be my bead stopper. If you are accustomed to the right angle weave, you probably have another way of doing a bead stopper, but this is how I do it. Now when I do these, I start on this side and work this way. You can start on this side and work this way. Of course, you can also do the pattern this way and work either top down, bottom up. So that it can be worked any way that you feel most comfortable. Now for the first rectangle, we are going to add our 6 beads onto our string. And I always start with the 2 inside beads. These ones are all black because they're outlined in black. Then we have the blues, the reds, and then the whites are just clear. So we'll add our 5. They are all black. I mean 6, sorry. Add our 6. They are all black. And then to create our rectangle, we will go through the first 2 beads we added, again going in the same direction away from our stopper. And there we have our first rectangle. Okay, so our string is coming out this way, so now we're going to add these 6 beads. Now for the diamonds, we are increasing and decreasing. For the first half, we will be using the increase of the right angle weave, and then for the second half, we'll be decreasing. So here we will add our first 6 for our next row. So they are all black. And then we'll let them drop down, and we will go through the first one again in the same direction, which means away from our previous rectangle. And there we have added our second rectangle. Now we'll turn it so it's down and our previous one is on the right. And our string is coming out this direction, so we will add our next 3 beads. And they are all black. And then we need to connect, so we'll go through the 2 that are on our previous row, plus the top one of our previous rectangle for this row. So this is easy to find. You see where your stopper is, and you go through the 2 beads next to it. And then you go through that 1 bead on the previous rectangle of this row. And now we need to get to the top so we can add our next set. So we need now to go through the 3 that we just added. gone through these and we're coming out this direction, so we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we want to go through the top bead of our previous rectangle. So we want to go through it so that our string is coming out on the same side as our string came out before. And there we have added. Now our string is coming in towards the previous row, so we need to go around so that it is coming out towards the next row. So we want to go through all 5 beads that we just added. Now we're coming out down here. So unlike this one here, we're not going to be able to add this first set first. We need to add these beads here. So what we're actually going to do is a kind of figure 8. So we're going to add these, then we're going to add these, and then we're going to bead back through and connect it all. So what we want to do is we want to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 beads. So the first one is a black. Then we need 2 whites. Then we need 4 blacks. And then 2 blues. And then we want to find number 4, so we want to go back 5 beads. So we have the 2 blues, then 3 blacks, that's 5 beads, so this is number 4. Now we want to go through it. Oops. Keep it here because it'll be easier to tell. We want to go through it away from our work here. So we want to go through it, so we're going away. And there we've added this set. Now we need to connect this set, and to do that we want this end rectangle. We want to go through these 2 side beads, and we want to go through them from the end of the row going towards the direction we're headed. And now we have our 2 sets on. And then we want to go through that bead on the end of our row, our current row. And our string is now coming out this side, so we're going to add 1, 2, 3. That is 3 blacks. Now to connect it to our work, we want to go through the 2 beads on the previous row, going in away from our work. And then we also want to go through that bead on the end of our current row. And there we've attached our current rectangle. Now we need to get to the end of it, so we'll have to go through all 3 beads we just added. And as that has us coming in towards the previous row, we also need to go through the 2 beads on the previous row to get into position for our next set. So now we're coming out here, so we're going to add 1, 2, 3, so that's a black and 2 blues. Then to connect, we need to go through the end of our current row and the 2 side beads of the previous row. So we find the end of our current row, go through it, and the side beads where our string is coming out, go through those, and there we have attached. Now we want to go through this end bead to get ready for our next set. And we are coming out this side, so we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is 2 reds and 3 blacks. Then we want to go through the bead that our string is coming out of. And there we have added the last rectangle for this row. Now to get it in position for the next row, we want to go through the 2 side beads with our 2 reds. That has us coming out here, so we can add our first rectangle easily. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're all black. And we want to go through that first one we added, find it, go through it going away from our previous work, and there we have our rectangle attached. And we're coming out this direction, so 1, 2, 3. So that's 2 blacks and a blue. And we want to attach, so we need to go through the 2 on the previous row and the 1 on the previous rectangle. So that's the previous row, 2 beads. There it is. I was gonna say I lost my string. It went through 1. So the 2 on the previous row, and then the 1 on our previous rectangle. Alright, so we have attached, and we are currently coming out here, so we need to go through the 3 that we added, and then we'll need to go through the 2 here to get into position. That's the 3 we added, and then because our string is coming in towards the previous row, we go through the 2 on the previous row, and now we're coming out here and we add 1, 2, 3, and that is a blue and 2 blacks. And then to attach it, we want to go through the 1 on the end of the previous rectangle and the 2 on the previous row. So find our previous rectangle, go through 1, and then our previous row, we go through 2, And then to get us in position for the next set, we want to go through the end bead of our row. So we are now coming out here, so we add 1, 2, 3, all black. And to attach, we go through the 2 on the previous, 1 on the end, and then we'll go through all 3 again. So we want to be down from the previous rectangle, going up towards it. Then the bottom of the previous rectangle. Then we need to go through the 3 we just added. And also, because we're coming in towards our previous row, we want to go through the 2 beads on the previous row. So these 2 whites. Alright, now we're coming out here, so we're going to add 1, 2, 3, and that is a blue followed by 2 blacks. Now we work our way back around by going through the end bead of our current row, and then the 2 beads on the previous row. And to get into position, we go through the 1 bead on the end of our row. It has us going this way, so 1, 2, 3, that's 2 blacks and a blue. Then we attach by going through the 2 beads on the previous row, and we want to go towards the previous rectangle. Then we go through the bead on the end of the previous rectangle, and we go through all 3 beads we just added. And now we are on the end of our row, and we're coming out this way, so we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they are all black. Now we want to go through that 1 bead on the end of our row, and because the next row is a decrease, we actually are coming out this direction, so we're going to work all the way around the 5 beads of our previous rectangle. So we will go through all 5 of the previous rectangle. So we go through the 2 inner beads, one bead, this blue does not seem to want to let me get through. Oh, there we go. Now we want to go through the 2 beads that we're going to attach to, which is these 2 second beads here. And now we are coming out this direction, and we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 3 blacks and a red. Now we want to attach, so we want to go through the 2 beads that our string is coming out of, so that our string is coming out the same side. There we have attached. Now we want to be going this way, so we're going to go through all 4 beads we just added. And as we're coming in towards the previous row, we want to go through those 2 beads on the previous row. We have attached, and we are coming out down here, so we're going to add 1, 2, 3. They're all red. Then to attach it, we want to go through the 1 bead on our previous rectangle, and then the 2 beads on the previous row that we went through earlier, and then also the bead on the end of the row we just added, rectangle we just added. And that has us coming out here, so we add 1, 2, 3, 2 blues and a black. Now to attach it, we first want to go through the 2 beads on our previous row, going towards our previous rectangle, then the bead on the end of our previous rectangle, and as we need to be down here, we'll go through all 3 beads we just added, and then down through the 2 beads on the previous row. Now we're coming out here, so we'll add 3, and they are all black. Now to attach, we go through the bead on the end of our previous rectangle, then the 2 beads on the previous row, and we finish by going through the bead on the end of the rectangle we just added. Now we're coming here, so 1, 2, 3, all black. Then to attach, we want to go through the 2 beads on the previous row, going towards our previous rectangle, then the end bead of the previous rectangle, and the 3 beads we just, oh wait a minute, nope, this is our last rectangle for this row, so we stop here. So we are coming out here, so we want to be down, so we're going to go through the 2 side beads going away from the rectangle we just added. So you want to be coming out those 2 second beads, and that puts us out here, so we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4. Hope my string's not too short. Alright, so we add 4. And then we attach by going through those 2 second beads. go through the bottom bead. Coming out here, so 1, 2, 3. We attach by first going through the beads on the previous row, going towards our last rectangle. Then we go through the bottom bead of our last rectangle, and then all 3 of the beads we just added, and looks like I'm going to run out of string. Now we are coming in towards our previous row, so we are going to go through those 2 beads on the previous row, and we are coming out here, so we're going to add 1, 2, 3. Then we attach by going through the bead on the bottom of our previous rectangle, and as this is the last rectangle for this row, and I'm out of string. Well, actually I might be able to show you now, because this is the last. Instead of going around this way, we're going to go around this way. So we want to go through that middle. For this short row, it's the middle, but it's the previous rectangle. We want to go around it all the way, all 5. So go through all 5 beads. Well, end of my string is not cooperating with me. And these blues seem to have a problem with me going through so many times. Oh, I got it. Good. And then up through the black. Now this is something I run into since I don't like to use needles. The string sometimes gives out on me. Alright, go through to the other side. That sometimes works. There we go. And then we go through the 2 beads we're going to be attaching to, which is the second set in, or in this case the middle 2 because we're on the last row. My string's not cooperating. So you'll go through these 2 and then you'll be coming out. Yes, you'll be coming out, so then you'll add your 4 beads. Then you go through those 2 again and tie off your string. I will now show you how I secure my string or tie it off. I'll use the other side because this one is given out on me. For those who don't usually do the right angle weave, if you are accustomed to the right angle weave and have your own way of securing your string, then feel free to use whatever works for you. What I like to do is to go into my work. Now my strings aren't working for me. Alright, so I go into the work, and I like to finish off on a double, so I will go through a couple. Let's see, that was 1 single, then a double, then another single, and then what I do is I go around a full set, coming through here again. So I'll go through the 2 whites, then the black, then the 2 blacks, then the blue, and then I'll go through the 2 whites again, because I like to do a full circle. And then once I've done that, I cut off my string, and I have not had it any come apart with that. So if you like that, you can use it. There's also other ways, I'm sure, for securing string with the 1 needle right angle weave. If you have any questions, need any help, please check out our post in the comments. Also, I'm planning to do the other diamonds, rotating between the right angle weave and the cross weave, so that you can try out both and see which one you prefer. Hope to see you in those videos, and happy beading!